It was difficult to review the recently released MacBook Air 15 with M3, as there are very few differences from the prior model. Like, don't misunderstand me, a MacBook Air with the M3 processor is currently available. You own a modernized Wi-Fi chip. In contrast to Wi-Fi 6, it is now Wi-Fi 6E. However, this 15-inch Air is exactly the same as the previous model in every other way. There are no changes to the weight, size, or thickness. The port location is identical as well. There are still two Thunderbolt ports on the left. Your audio jack is located on the right-hand side, followed by your MagSafe connector. The new midnight color, which they had on an earlier MacBook, is a little bit more fingerprint resistant, which is where the differences lie. Automation technique they employ makes fingerprints appear less prominent, but they will still be visible. As I'm touching it, you can see them forming. So don't imagine that this will prevent them permanently. Compared to the previous midnight MacBooks, it's unquestionably better, though it's still a dark color. We've noticed that it makes no difference how you treat it, it will display fingerprints. That's how computers with dark colors operate. However, I'm okay with it, that's just how I roll. This color appeals to me more than the others since it seems so unusual. I enjoy how the light emanates from it. It can appear somewhat black if you move it to the left or right occasionally. However, you typically have this quite distinctive navy blue. Another update to the M3 MacBook Air 15 is that it can now connect to two monitors simultaneously. But there's a catch: the laptop needs to be fully. When the laptop is closed, one of those monitors stops functioning as soon as you open it. For this reason, you must use an external mouse and keyboard to operate the laptop when it is closed, because you are no longer able to utilize the laptop's keyboard if the display is closed. I did give the MacBook Pro 14s to Type-C connectors a shot. I also tried it on the MacBook Air 15 with M2, but it didn't work. It's not functional on this either. I'm not sure if Apple will provide a software update for those computers. However, it officially functions with the M3. The improved speakers that come with the MacBook Air 15 are another advantage. Are they superior than the MacBook Pro 14 today? In comparison to the MacBook Air 13, I'm going to administer a test. And you guys can respond by leaving a remark below. What if I were to be asked in one of my shorts if the display has been changed to a small LED? It's evident that the 13 or 15-inch MacBook Air models all have the same IPS panel. This IPS display is good quality, it's fine. I understand that some of you desire old, a few of you desire little LED. However, IPS won't burn in and will just last you far longer than old. If you really want a small LED screen, you can upgrade to the Pro model, the MacBook Air 15 M3, which is the base model, costs $12.99. However, it only has 8 GB of RAM, which is completely insufficient by my standards for 2024. For that price range, I can't think of a laptop that only offers 8 MB of RAM. It just seems excessively little by today's standards. In my opinion, the 16 GB RAM and 512 GB storage model that I have here is the actual base model. However, if you are considering this laptop, the M3 is a terrific performer that will now cost you $1,699 or $400 extra. In comparison to the M2 and M1, single-core clock rates are much faster, and multi-core clock speeds are also quicker, though not as significantly as single-core clock speeds. However, here's the thing: the Mac Pro 14 M3 and Air 15 M3 differ from one another in terms of practical use. Is not overly extreme. For example, if you're discussing Premiere Pro or video editing in general, the Pro 14 is unquestionably a better option if you're working on a project that will require long-term system development. Active cooling is undoubtedly advantageous. The code used to compile Mozilla Firefox on the M3, this laptop, and the Pro 14 was quite comparable. Photoshop was the only area where the Air 15 truly excelled, and I'm not sure why. Considering how identical everything else is, their SSD speeds were the only thing that came to mind when comparing to the Pro 14, excluding the cooling system, when it comes to proper speeds. The SSD inside this device appears to be roughly 200 megabytes faster than the SSD inside the Pro 14. That was fascinating. And Apple is now promoting gaming on their MacBooks, which makes sense given their powerful GPU cores. The issue is that there aren't many games yet for the MacBook. Many of the older ones, like Death Stranding, or even the more recent ones, like Baldur's Gate. However, using an M3 to play Baldur's Gate necessitates drastically lowering the resolution and, obviously, the visual quality, while it is possible. Using one of the more costly M3 Macs offers a far superior experience now if titles like Warzone, Apex Legends, and Overwatch were accessible for this, it could easily manage it. However, that is the problem with those games. Most AA titles are still exclusive to the Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. Apple must thus find a way to persuade game creators to convert their titles to this platform. But it will not be easy given that these devices are far more expensive than the average. The absence of fan noise is the MacBook Air 15's additional advantage. It's simply an extremely silent machine. In fact, the MacBook Pro 14's fans were blazing during these tests conducted under load. They were clearly audible, but not on this guy right now. But the issue is, you can buy the exact same features for an additional $100. However, a MacBook Pro 14 will give you superior speakers. More connectors and a much better display are included. And if you don't do a lot of GPU-related jobs, I think that's worth an additional $100, in my opinion. The MacBook Air 13 with M2 for $1,399 or $999 is the best choice, however. If the M3 is what you really want, given that the MacBook Air 13 costs roughly $200 less, it stands to reason that it will provide the best value for your money. Please ask any questions you may have in the space provided for comments below. If you like the video, please like it and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you all in the next one, too.